Thanks, Jeff. Jeremy, KZOZ.com. And this news out this morning, I don't know if you heard this news. I just read it when I came in this morning. I thought, this is fantastic. Foo Fighters are going to be touring with Weezer starting in January.
I've seen them together.
As you see them at the same show?
They toured together, yeah. They toured together in, I believe it was 2003, if memory serves me correct, maybe 2004.
Well, that's pretty great.
I was going to school at the time, and I'm a big fan of both bands. And at that time, I was a really big fan of both bands. And they were coming up at the same time. You know, I mean, they basically, actually, Weezer started out before the Foo Fighters, because Weezer was around when Nirvana was around, and then, you know, Foo Fighters came along. And yeah, I think it was like 2003, 2004, I saw them at the Key Arena in Seattle. I was going to college at the time. The show was on a Thursday. So what I did was I went to school Thursday morning, drove to Spokane, Washington, got on a plane, made it to Seattle in time to go to the show, stayed the night at a buddy's house, woke up the next morning, went back to the airport, and flew back to Spokane, got in my car.
All business.
I was all business.
I love that.
I was back in time to party on Friday night.
That's so great. And you just came back from a killer concert.
Yeah, it was awesome.
So everybody was like, dude, how was the concert? You're
it was one of the things I'll never forget.
What a great weekend. That was probably a great weekend in your life.
So it was a co-headlining concert. I don't know if that's what they're doing.
No. Weezer will be opening.
Okay, so
because the Foo Fighters.
So Weezer did the same set time as the Foo Fighters did, but the Foo Fighters went second, and the Weezer, like, you know how, remember when we talked to the guys from Styx and REO Speedwagon?
Right, they would rotate.
That's what they were doing in 2004. Some nights Weezer would go second, some nights Foo Fighters would go second, but now on this tour, Foo Fighters are definitely the headliner, right?
Yeah. Rivers said that, they've always been kind of bitter rivals, just because they came out at the same time. And he goes, but obviously, we're huge Foo Fighter fans, and we're so stoked to tour with them. And they're 10 times bigger than we are. So we're just happy to be able to do this tour with them. But
I heard that the Weezer was like planning out a tour of their own. This is going to only happen in Australia and New Zealand, right?
No, it's going to start in Australia and New Zealand. Well, it launches in January there. And then it says, it doesn't say anything else. So it just says the tour launches in Australia and New Zealand. But so I don't know where it's going, but it won't start until January because the Foo Fighters are still wrapping up their North American tour of their album.
We're not going to be the benefactors of any Foo Fighters.
What if it goes well and they're like, hey, let's do a U.S. tour? I don't know.
Hopefully it does, but I just don't see it happening. Weezer was planning their own tour of Australia and New Zealand, and then the Foo Fighters called them up. Like, Dave Grohl called them up and said, hey, do you guys want to jump on board with us instead? And we'll just tour together? And Rivers was like, yeah, sure. That's cool.
So I wonder how that works.
That's how things go down in big rock stardom.
You're Rivers now, okay? And you get the call from Dave Grohl. And you're like, wow, okay. Is it financial at that point? He's like, no, we're going to do our own thing. But wait a second. If we jump on with the Foo Fighters, we might make a lot more money. Even though we have to split the ticket, there's going to be a lot more people coming to these shows. I guarantee you they're not going to be splitting that ticket. Yeah, you know what I mean.
They'll get a percentage.
Not 50-50, but they'll get a percentage of it. We're asking you this morning, what two bands would you like to see team up from the 90s?
Oh, that's easy.
And I have
just two?
I have a few, right?
Just two?
If it was one tour, I know, right? Like, I'm thinking, like, I would love to if Tool got back together and toured with Metallica. I've never seen Metallica. I've seen Tool a bunch of times. That, to me, would be, like, freaking amazing.
That's one band from the 80s and one band from the 90s, though.
Nah, stop it. Metallica had songs in the 90s.
Okay, sure.
Foo Fighters and Weezer going to be touring together. They're going to start it in January in Australia and New Zealand. Kind of got us thinking, like, what would be some cool bands from the 90s that you would like to see together? Tool, Metallica, Smashing Pumpkins.
How about Matchbox 20 and Counting Crows?
No.
Oh, I already saw that one.
No. Boring. Sorry. That was such a boring show. I was so bored. You were sitting in front of me, and you were there by yourself, like you always are at concerts, double fisting something that looked like muddy water. What kind of beer was that again? Do you remember?
Well, it was the bottom of the keg from the Elysian offering.
I was like, what is he drinking? Looked like some protein shake gone wrong.
So I got a lot of dirty head from that beer.
I feel like we all got dirty headed that night. It was not. I left. I left about halfway through the Matchbox 20 show.
No, you missed
and this was a show that I always wanted to see, and then I was just like, oh, my God, this is so boring. Were you there? You didn't leave?
I stayed till the very end.
Oh, wow. That's rare for you.
Well, that's because my ride was staying till the very end, so I had no choice. Because I probably would have left that concert early as well. For me, it's as easy. Now, it's not easy because I got to pick two bands. But if I think of a quintessential band from the 90s, like the 90s sound, there's always one band that comes to mind, okay? And it is but the thing is, they did not experience like super mainstream success or super success for that matter at all. All they did was experience some radio success and some success from their first album, and then that was it.
Oh, God. The Goo Goo Dolls?
No. See, you don't even know who they are.
Hey, Jealousy, right?
This is Gin Blossoms.
Gin Blossoms.
Starts with a G.
Oh, sorry. They are all the same to me. This is garbage.
Think it'd be all right. I'd be there sitting in the front row.
You kind of have the same voice. Who sings?
I saw that they played in Temecula and they opened for Bush.
The Gin Blossoms.
At the Temecula.
You're the only one I know. I think you might be the only human being that would love to see the Gin Blossoms come back out and do a tour.
Give me Gin Blossoms opening for...
Give me one other song they did besides this that anyone would know.
Found Out About You?
Oh, I think I do kind of remember
How about Follow You Down?
Follow You Down. That's right, okay. These guys were caught into this...
Yeah. Get good medicine on Gin Blossoms, could you, please? You can't tell me you can't bring Gin Blossoms to the Siren Tavern in Morro Bay. That son of a bitch would sell out. A little harmonica? Who else did harmonica in 90s rock,
They were caught in this state, and I can't think of the word, but... They were like trying to be rock and then pop.
They were the Eagles of alternative rock. The Gin Blossoms were the Eagles of alternative rock.
What's that term that people use when someone dies and before they go to heaven? Limbo. They're like in this limbo of rock and pop.
They are.
And
easy listening and alternative. But, man, I love the Gin Blossoms. Give me Gin Blossoms.
Did you love Tom Cochran? Because this to me sounds like...
Just the one song.
Like if you listen to this channel on Pandora, you would hear Tom Cochran.
Just Life is a Highway.
Life is a Highway. All right, let's grab a couple of calls, shall we? 543-3693. You can call or text on the 805 Properly Chill lines and let us know what two bands from the 90s. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, so I think that it would probably be cool, like if Nirvana was still around and Kurt Cobain was still alive, to maybe see like a combination of Nirvana and like 90s Green Day.
I think it'd be cool too.
Yeah, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Hi, go ahead.
Yeah, Guns N' Roses and Metallica again.
So I'm going to argue that that's bands from the 80s.
Yeah, but Guns N' Roses didn't do anything in the 90s, did they?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's bands from the 80s.
No, they did the Guns N' Metallica tour in the 90s.
No, we're talking about bands that were kind of they're 90s bands.
Oh, okay.
I just don't. I mean, I understand where people, like that would be an awesome concert to see. I don't consider Guns N' Roses and Metallica to be from the 90s. I just don't.
But Metallica had all kinds of albums that released in the 90s.
90s rock began with Soundgarden. Obviously, we can't see Soundgarden again. 90s rock began with Nirvana, Pearl Jam. Metallica began in the 80s. Guns N' Roses experienced their best success in the late 80s.
Knock it off with all this. Knock it off.
I'm just trying to illustrate the Gin Blossoms have a wider catalog than one would probably expect.
By the way,
it's not just Hey Jealousy. It's not just Found Out About You. There's also Until I Fall Away.
Nobody knows that.
Till I Hear It From You.
Nobody knows that.
Allison Road.
I know these because I used to ride in vans, in your van, and we'd do road trips. By the way, Metallica released 3 albums in the 90s, all right? They did Load, Reload. They did their self-titled album.
But their best music came from the 80s.
Well,
unlike the Gin Blossoms. I mean, dude that's lead singer in the Gin Blossoms.
This reminds me of like being hungover and you smoking cigarettes, driving down highways of wheat fields and the Northwest, on the eastern side of the state.
Dude that is lead singer for Gin Blossoms that looks like Brad from Truth About Seafood has the easiest gig in rock and roll because all his job is to do is play the tambourine and sing. But he doesn't even have to play the guitar. He just plays the tambourine and sings.
Okay, so it's the Goo Goo Dolls.
And sometimes picks up a harmonica.
Oh, sorry, not the Goo Goo Dolls. It's the Gin Blossoms.
I don't know who to put them with.
Yeah.
I don't know who to put them
Who
with.
would want to be with them?
Would they open or would they headline? That's my question. I don't know.
543-3693 are the numbers to get through. You can call or text on those lines, brought to you by our friends at 805.
By the way, they did a free concert at the Santa Cruz Boardwalk this summer. I was going to go see them, and then I tried to book a room. This is how big the Gin Blossoms are, okay?
Yeah.
I tried to book a room. It was $250 a night. I was like, no way.
$250 a night? Because the Gin Blossoms were in town?
Yeah, I guess it was,
I'm sure something else was going on.
It was summer in Santa Cruz.
They were having the slug races
Amy writes
or
in
something.
she'd love to see the 9 Inch Nails and the Beastie Boys.
So you can't have the Beastie Boys according to Jeff's rules, Amy, because the Beastie Boys had most of all their hits in the 80s.
A member's dead, too. No, they had a lot of bands. They had a lot of songs from the 90s. But you're not going to see the Beastie Boys for the same reason you're not going to see Nirvana. There's a band member that is passed on.
Well, what? They could get somebody and get back out there, couldn't they?
No, not the Beastie Boys. Come on. Adam Yauch, that was
irreplaceable.
That's the new,
it's not like they're just replacing a guitar player.
No, it's not like
or a bassist.
Dave and Chris got together and they said, you know what? We can replace this Kurt guy. That just wasn't going to happen. That's why Dave was like, I'm going to go start my own band, Chris. See you later.
543-3693. You can call or text on the 805 Properly Chill lines. Hi, go ahead.
Hey, Jim Blossom was the emo band of the 90s.
It was Gin, not Jim.
J-G-I-N. They were the emo band.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Jim Blossom.
That's what I'm talking about.
What? Hey.
My cell phone's not working. I just had to drive home real fast to get on the house phone to tell you that.
Thank you for the dedication.
What? I don't understand. What's emo? What is emo?
It's emotional music.
It's the wah, the crying, the feel sorry for me.
Play that song you were playing earlier. Still Out and Ran Away. That's emo.
When people, what's your favorite band, sir?
My favorite band, I like everything. It depends on my mood.
Don't give him an answer he'll angle on you.
Driving down the road.
I'm sorry, what was that? Jeremy was talking. What did you say?
I'll even listen to Mexican music when I'm driving down the road.
Are you glad you got that?
You're well versed then, right?
For you.
I would think I am.
Is it so when you describe the Gin Blossoms as being emo and crying and wah wah wah? Are you saying that as a knock against the Gin Blossoms? Because I'm here to protect the boys from Phoenix.
I just think that it doesn't make me feel good when I listen to it.
Yeah.
Come on, are you serious? How could you not feel good when you hear the Gin Blossoms, my friend? The Gin Blossoms are. It takes me I'm reading YouTube comments right now.
I'm listening to mariachi music driving down the road than I would listening to the Gin Blossoms.
I am reading YouTube comments right now, and people are saying things like, "I miss the '90s, a time when people gave a crap in music." And that's what the Gin Blossoms did.
I've lost my mind. I'm going to go on YouTube and under all the Gin Blossoms songs say this is a government conspiracy.
It's a government conspiracy.
Oh my God, I think I hear the crying too.
Allison Road is a government conspiracy.
Hang on, let me turn the lights off and put some black lipstick on.
See,
I never got the crying before until now.
Gin Blossoms are not an emo band, okay?
See, you're gonna wake up my baby. You're gonna wake up the baby.
Good Charlotte is an emo band. Even Green Day to some extent.
Charlotte? What?
Yeah,
Green
you have
Day?
to wear eyeliner and makeup. And the guys from Gin Blossoms are regular, everyday, next-door guys, okay? They played your frat party if you went to Arizona State in 1991.
I'd be like, turn that off! You guys need to go to bed. Turn that off!
Thanks for the call.
Bye.
All right, here we go. Emo. You ready for the definition? This is the Wikipedia of emo, all right? It's rock music characterized by lyrics with an emphasis on emotional expression, sometimes with confessional lyrics. So
wait, by definition,
it's emerged in the late 80s to early 90s.
Name of the band is Dashboard Confessional. That's that's in the definition of Dashboard Confessional.
Here's what Wikipedia says some bands are. I don't know about Jawbreaker. Sunny Day Real Estate is a emo band. So is Weezer.
That's a great band.
Weezer is an emo band. Okay. They don't wear eyeliner, do they? Does Rivers wear eyeliner?
Dude, I would totally.
Jimmy Eat World?
If you gave
Jimmy Eat World. They had that one good song.
If you gave me the opportunity to see Sunny Day Real Estate and Gin Blossoms on the same bill, I probably would pay upwards. I would pay $100 to go to that show.
Wow. Yeah, you know what? The Gin Blossoms don't make this list, so I'm sorry, sir, you were wrong. My Chemical Romance, Fall Out Boy. These are Dashboard Confessional. These are bands from the now 2000s that are emos.
Doesn't say anything about Gin Blossoms.
What is this one? I don't think I know this one.
This is Sunny Day Real Estate. This is their big song. Come on, man.
Sorry.
7.
This is when I got into my darker years. I started listening to like Tool, Korn.
Because you're a man. Because you're all man.
Godsmack. The man.
Can't show emotion because I'm a man.
I'm a real man. American blood.
Give me some Metallica because I'm a man. These guys are emo.
Your lipstick is calling up by the angel. I know exactly what goes on.
But if you gave me Taking Back Sunday on that bill too, that price goes up $150.
Who is this?
Taking Back Sunday.
You and your emo bands.
Hey, listen, I'm not afraid to admit that I like emo bands. And every jackhole...
You were just saying they were emo bands.
Pantera a-hole listening to person that has ever said, you like emo. You know what? I do like emo, Pantera guy.
A couple other bands that people would like to see tour from the 90s. System of a Down, Pantera. Pantera also makes the miss.
Because we're men.
With White Zombie.
System of Down. Pantera.
I forgot about White Zombie.
That's real rock, man.
White Zombie was
Show me the mosh pit.
Was my junior and senior year of high school, man.
If you go to a concert and you don't care about the music and you're like, hey, bro, show me what the mosh pit is, man. Come on. Show me what the mosh pit. Who am I here to see? Pantera? Megadeth?
No, they're here to see you, to punch you in the face, you emo-loving...
Show me where it's at, man. Show me the mosh pit.
We're talking about bands from the 90s touring that you would love to see tour together.
You know what we should do as part of Jeff and Jeremy in the morning and being boys from the 90s? I mean, come on, that's when we experienced some of the best music of our time, right? At least for you and I.
Yeah, it was life-altering.
We should always open with like outlier bands that we respected from the 90s. Like bands that really don't get any attention anymore, but they got a lot of attention. Like the Gin Blossoms. They got a lot of attention in the 90s.
Third Eye Blind?
Third Eye Blind got a lot of attention in the night. What about these guys right here? Come on, do it with me now. Ready? Ready?
I'm trying to place it. Hold on.
Yeah! Yeah! Everclear.
Oh my God, this takes me back.
Portland's finest.
We used to play Everclear just a few years ago on this station. Not this song. This is a good one.
Back when Everclear was punk. From the Sparkle and Fade album.
Fine.
A great track. There needs to be an I Love the 90s alternative collection. You need to have Everclear go on tour with Gin Blossoms and Third Eye Blind and hell, Taking Back Sunday and I don't know. No, Taking Back Sunday was kind of 2000s. But hey, let's not split hairs here. If the music was good, let's put them together on the same bill.
We got Craig holding on. Hold on. What's up, Know-It-All?
So you guys are talking emo, right?
It's blasphemy. That
well, we were. We were.
That only has 104,000 views.
I was hoping we'd move on, but go ahead. What do you want to say about emo?
That definition of emo is so wrong. You want to see emo, go see Morrissey at the Vino Roadless.
Ah, yes. That's true OG emo.
But that's not 90s. That's like 80s.
Yeah, that's the tenets, the basis.
The Smiths,
oh, I know.
The roots
of... The Smiths, and then Morrissey afterwards. Morrissey is so emo, he's notorious for walking out of his shows and quitting before the show is over.
Because he got too emotional.
'cause he
Couldn't
just got-
handle the
he got
pressure.
too wrapped up in it.
He's so emo.
He's so
The
depressed.
original emo-
Like, not even Elton John gets wrapped up in it, you know? I mean, you would think if there's a guy that's going to get emotional, it would be Elton John. No, he could sit there and sing about Princess Diana because he knows the checks are coming.
The original emo band is Sisters of Mercy. That's the original.
Oh my
emo, and
God,
that
we
is
used to
good
play.
stuff.
We used to play them on our college radio station.
Really?
Sisters of Mercy is so good.
Oh, I'm
remember
going to have to
Sisters
look
of
that
Mercy.
up. Do you remember that, Jeff?
No. Brad,
I have all three of their albums.
since we're having this little round table here, okay, Brad writes in on the 543-3693 805beer.com text line. And he says, now, I never necessarily, I wouldn't be like a big fan of this show, but I could see this show raking it in from a money standpoint. If you were to get Tom DeLonge to stop chasing aliens and get back with Blink-182.
He's building spaceships.
And
He's
get-
literally building a spaceship right now.
And get Gwen Stefani to stop banging the country guy on The Voice and come back to No Doubt. And then Blink-182 and No Doubt did a tour together. That tour would make tons of cash.
Yeah, that would probably be pretty
Yeah.
good. That would be pretty good.
I mean, I would just go do it for nostalgia purposes. The same reason why I went to Counting Crows and Matchbox 20.
These remember the 90s tours that are going on right now. I mean, they're okay, but they're all the pop bands. They weren't the best bands of the 90s, for sure.
The best bands of the 90s were the fringe alternative. I call it
Exactly.
alternative light.
Exactly. Like that Everclear that you just played, Everclear is still good.
Everclear's a great band.
I don't know if they're touring, but they might be like.
Well, no, here's the problem with Everclear. It's just Art Alexakis and whoever he surrounds himself
Right.
with.
Right.
And that's
Right.
Everclear.
Do you remember when we were in college? They came to the town we went to college and they performed.
Yeah.
And didn't they come to the bar or something like
Yeah,
that?
they came to the bar afterwards.
And did somebody try to buy him a beer? And the guy
I tried to buy. Okay, so I tried to buy
you?
Art Alexakis a beer, and he pushed me away because he's a recovering alcoholic. But
Then don't go to a bar.
What's he doing in the bar?
I know. I said, "What are you doing here, then, dude?" He got mad. He
Like
pushed
a
me away.
shoulder-to-shoulder crowded bar.
I said, "Hey, Art Alexakis from Everclear, let me buy you a beer." He goes, "I don't drink, a-hole." And I said,
Like, you should
"What-
know that."
What are you doing?" Well, I did know that, and I kind of was snarky when I offered him the beer. As it's like to say, "I know you're a recovering alcoholic. Let me buy you a beer." That's pretty much how I said it with my tone. And he said, "Get away from me!" And he pushed me away, and that was it.
I
Craig,
got to tell you, MTV in the 90s did the college campus tours. And at Cal Poly, I saw Third Eye Blind and Eve 6.
See,
And that was pretty good.
that's a good one. That's a good
Yeah.
one.
remember this, Craig?
What is this? Is this that Sisters of Mercy?
Sisters of Mercy,
hell
Phenomenon, Mother Russia.
Yeah.
There was so many great one-hit wonders from the alternative light movement of the 90s. Like, you remember Len, Steal My Sunshine?
Oh, stop with that. Stop. Okay, we're done. We got to go.
Eve
See ya,
6
Craig.
Eve 6 is one of those, too, with Inside Out.
Len
you know?
is no Len. No stealing nobody's sunshine.
93.